Wikifiends. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm David.
And I'm Alex.
And we are the Wikifiends. We have a special single topic episode for you tonight. It's all about German prisoner of war camps during World War II. Specifically, German soldiers as prisoners in the United States.
Ah.
Were you guys familiar with this?
I knew about the Japanese internment camps. I heard some stuff about the Axis prisoners of war. I haven't heard about German prisoners in America, though.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about this, but there were 700 prisoner camps throughout the United States during World War II, so that was over 425,000 German prisoners, and these were servicemen. So it wasn't like the Japanese internment camp. These were actual, Nazis that were taken prisoner and were housed in America. It started initially. It was to aid the British, who did not have enough land and resources to house German prisoners. But as the war went on, of course, the United States took their own prisoners. So I'm going to read some of these excerpts because it's a pretty interesting article. Camp life. Life for the Germans in American POW camps was reportedly firm but fair. There were insufficient American guards, especially German speakers. They mostly supervised the German officers and NCOs who strictly maintained discipline. The Germans woke their own men, marched them to and from meals, and prepared them for work. Their routine successfully recreated the feel of military discipline for prisoners. Prisoners had friendly interaction with local civilians and sometimes were allowed outside the camps without guards on the honor system. Black American guards noted that the German prisoners could visit segregated restaurants that they could not. Luxuries such as beer and wine were sometimes available, and hobbies or sports were encouraged. Alex Funke, a former POW at Camp Algona, wrote, We all were positively impressed by the USA. We all had been won over to friendly relations with the USA. Indeed, unauthorized fraternization between American women and German prisoners was sometimes a problem. Several camps held social receptions with local American girls, and some Germans met their future wives as prisoners. And a lot of this, it almost sounds like it's sort of pro-U.S. propaganda, but, I think you'd have to take it on face value. It's painting a picture of life in the POW camps in America as being pretty nice.
Well, it's so civilized, and they can even eat at restaurants black people can't eat at.
Yeah, they're on the honor system, so they can just kind of come and go whenever they please. It says here, this is under the rations. Many prisoners found that their living conditions as prisoners were better than as civilians in cold water flats in Germany. The prisoners were provided with writing materials, art supplies, woodworking utensils, and musical instruments, and were allowed regular correspondence with family in Germany. General officers received wine with their meals, and all prisoners ate the same rations as American soldiers as required by the Geneva Convention, including special meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Unable to eat all their food, prisoners at first burned leftover food, fearing that their rations would be reduced. Groups of prisoners pooled their daily beer coupons to take turns drinking several at a time. They also received 2 packs of cigarettes a day and frequently meat, both rationed for American civilians. And it says here, cigarettes were sold in the prisoner canteen for less than outside the camp. so guards were sometimes amenable to being bribed with them. One German later recalled that he gained 57 pounds in 2 years as a prisoner. Despite complaints to the International Red Cross inspectors about the alleged inferiority of American white bread and coffee, prisoners recognized that they were treated better in the United States than anywhere else. And I don't know if you've heard about this, but I don't know if you remember specifically, Dave, when I was friends with all those German au pair girls. They would complain about how American bread was so horrible all the time.
That's like a thing. They like to bitch about that.
Yeah, and like if you've ever seen German bread, it's like this gross, dense, tiny squares. It's like it looks really horrible. It's almost like all pumpernickel bread.
I'm not even familiar with that. I'll have to look into that. It's just too thick, you're saying? It's like not good. It's not soft. It doesn't make good sandwich.
It's like dense. It's like dense. It looks really gross. It looks like a thing that would be like a It looks almost like a fruitcake bread, but with no fruit in it.
I see.
And not sweet. It looks really bad. And here's a quote from a German prisoner of war. When I was captured, I weighed 128 pounds. After 2 years as an American POW, weighed 185. I had gotten so fat you could no longer see my eyes. Entertainment and education. Funk stated that nobody could become bored as a prisoner. Prisoners held frequent theatrical and musical performances attended by hundreds or thousands, including American guards and Red Cross inspectors. Movies were shown as often as 4 nights a week. If the camp did not have a projector, prisoners often pooled their savings to purchase one. The cinema served as an important re-education and propaganda tool as well as entertainment, with Hollywood anti-Nazi films, cartoons such as Hair Meets Hair, and the Why We Fight series used. American World War II films shown mostly dealt with the Pacific War. Near the end of the war, approved German films from a list exchanged through the Red Cross became available. After the liberation of the Nazi concentration camps, films of the atrocities of the Holocaust were shown to the prisoners, which engendered shock, anger, and disbelief. Amazed and disbelieving prisoners nicknamed them Noken films, or films of bones. After compulsory viewing of an atrocity film, 1,000 prisoners at Camp Butner dramatically burned their German uniforms. In an idea seriously considered but ultimately rejected by American military officials, a few prisoners even volunteered to fight in the war against Japan. Camps built libraries to organize their reading material, and prisoners often purchased their own, but they never had enough reading material, with an average of 1 half book per prisoner. The YMCA printed thousands of copies of books for the camps and even provided bookbinding material so camps could repair them due to frequent use. Camps had subscriptions to American newspapers, and every camp published its own newspaper, with poetry and short stories, puzzles and games, listing of upcoming events, and classified ads. Camp authorities recognized the periodical's value in serving as creative outlets and as accurate indicators of the prisoner's view. The tone of their articles varied. Some promoted Nazi ideology and foresaw German victory. Even as Germany's defeat neared in early 1945, 8 of 20 camp newspapers advocated Nazi ideology. Many future German CEOs benefited from education they received as prisoners in the United States. Educated prisoners such as future German cabinet member Walter Hallstein taught classes on their areas of expertise, including German, English, and other foreign languages, businesses, and mathematics. The systematically taught courses were so successful that in May 1944, the German Ministry of Education and the OKW sent through the Red Cross detailed procedures for students to receive credit at German high schools and universities. Some prisoners took correspondence classes through local universities, and German universities also accepted their credits after returning home. I mean, so far it sounds way better than just regular prison, like regular American prison.
Yeah,
like the summer camp.
Yeah, they're And I mean, I know there's a lot of weird. It's like they have to give them the same rations as our military, so they get all these cigarettes and beer coupons and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, 2 packs of cigarettes a day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine smoking?
40 a day. Jeez.
I like also that they're like, well, I don't want just one beer a day, so I'm going to go in with some guys and we'll alternate getting drunk.
Right.
This will be
It's 1 day a week.
Yeah, this will be my day to get wasted.
It's very
like a weird, like, fraternity summer camp kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's no families, so it's all like just young men. So it's it just has that. No one's worried about their wife or kids. It's just fun with the boys all day.
Yeah.
All right. Prisoner resistance. Relying on Germans to discipline themselves, while efficient, also permitted committed groups of Nazi prisoners to exist despite American attempts to identify and separate them. Often members of the Afrika Korps, who had been captured early in the war during Germany's greatest military successes, they led work stoppages, intimidated other prisoners, and held secret kangaroo court for those accused of disloyalty. Those convicted were sometimes attacked or killed in a process known as the Holy Ghost. Most prisoner suicides were likely murders. While the American government executed 14 Germans after the war for murdering other prisoners in 3 incidents, hundreds of such murders may have occurred. Many devoted Nazis remained loyal to their political beliefs and expected a German victory until the Allies crossed the Rhine in March 1945. Their faith amazed prisoners captured during and after the Battle of Normandy, who had more realistic views of the likely outcome of the war. In turn, the earlier prisoners often viewed the others with contempt, calling them traitors and deserters. Fear of secret punishment by such men caused one prisoner to later state that there was more political freedom in the German army than in an American prison camp. He and other anti-Nazis were sent to Camp Ruston in Louisiana to protect them, while an Oklahoma camp received Waffen SS and violent prisoners. So it seems like that Oklahoma one's was probably really shitty.
Yeah,
I was wondering because it's like, do they make the distinction between German army officers and Nazi party members? Because I mean that is a big difference in a certain way. Like some are ideologically motivated, and so those are the ones you gotta fucking watch out for. I
mean, these are all servicemen. I mean, so. I think I would assume they would be treated as just straightforward prisoners of war unless they were trying to promote Nazism, and then they would be moved to, a segregated camp.
But didn't you say one was for SS and like that's secret police, right? I mean, isn't that it's a little different?
Yeah. I don't. It seems like yes, that one, and then but also it received people that were violent. So it seems like it could,
right?
It could include people that were, it could include, servicemen that demonstrated not through, not through, a title or a status as a party member, but if they were so like some of these Afrika Korps possibly that were killing people they found to be disloyal. I mean, that it seems like they could get sent there afterwards,
right?
But it doesn't go into that here. That's speculation on my part.
Are there any examples of the art or the music that these people made at the camps or anything?
There's no art on here. There's no music, but I don't know. I haven't looked to see if there's any online, but let me continue. Let's see here. Prisoners, regardless of ideology, often taunted their captors, such as saluting with Sieg Heils when forced to attend the lowering of the United States flag. They secretly celebrated Hitler's birthday and other Nazi holidays after the Americans banned them, and many became upset when Jewish American officers supervised them. Less than 1% of all prisoners of war in America attempted to escape. However, about half the rate of Italian prisoners, and less than the rate in the civilian prison system. And most were unsuccessful. The likelihood of an escapee returning to their forces overseas was very remote. The wish to avoid boredom was the reason most often given by those who attempted to escape, hoping to reach Argentina. Prisoners who died during escape attempts usually received military funerals with U.S. government-provided Nazi flags. So I think that's kind of interesting that the U.S. government had made up these Nazi flags to give to.
That's very weird. It's
very overly accommodating to them.
Yes. Well, it was their team, So
it seems, it would be interesting to see like German prisoner of wars that were buried here. If they weren't actual Nazi party members, it would be interesting if any of their families were like, "Hey, could you dig that up and throw away that flag?" But I mean, that seems like it would be not out of the realm of possibility. But.
Do you think they do that for ISIS people now? There's government provided black flags, ISIS flags for deaths?
No,
yeah.
No, because I don't think there's any ISIS POWs in America.
Not that we know of.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right. On December 23rd, 1944, 25 German POWs broke out of Camp Pagago Park in Arizona, not far from the Mexican border, by crawling along a 178-foot tunnel. By January, the escapees were caught, in part because a river they intended to cross by raft turned out to be a dry riverbed. It's funny. Special Projects Division. The OPMG began a formal re-education program for German prisoners in fall 1943, named the Special Projects Division, and directed by a group of university professors. The program published Der Ruf, a prisoner newspaper edited by sympathetic POWs, and distributed books banned in Nazi Germany. The effort was kept secret because it probably violated the Geneva Convention's ban on exposing prisoners to propaganda, the possibility of German retaliation with American prisoners, and the expectation that prisoners would reject overt re-education. After VE Day, SPD began a series of rapid classes on democracy for some of the most cooperative prisoners. The 25,000 graduates of these classes returned directly to Germany instead of being used for additional labor in Europe. SPD's efforts were unsuccessful. Many in the OPMG opposed the program, in part because they believed that changing most adults' basic philosophies and values was impossible, and if successful, might cause them to choose communism as an alternative. The American professors were almost entirely ignorant of German language or culture, as well as military and prison life. The reading material they prepared was overly intellectual and did not appeal to most prisoners. And Der Ruf was unpopular, as it was essentially a literary journal with little current news. Surveys of camp prisoners found no change in the views of the vast majority of prisoners from the program. This was consistent with the unchanging level of confidence found in German soldiers immediately after their capture in Europe, despite steady German defeats. Their nation's complete defeat in the war and subsequent division into two countries were likely much more influential than SPD re-education in Germans' post-war rejection of Nazism.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it's you're confronted with the.
It actually happened.
Yeah, the cold reality, cold hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
After the war, this is a section after the war. Although they expected to go home immediately after the end of the war in 1945, the majority of German prisoners continued working in the United States until 1946, arguably violating the Geneva Convention's requirement of rapid repatriation. Then spent up to 3 more years as laborers in France and the United Kingdom. As the Geneva Convention no longer applied, and because of the atrocities discovered at concentration camps, prisoners' rations were cut and workloads were increased. Before being sent home, they were required to watch documentaries of the camps. And it says scholar Arnold Kramer noted that in his years of interviewing prisoners, he never met one who admitted to being a Nazi. And most Germans had some knowledge of the camps. However, how much those captured in North Africa knew of the Eastern Front, where most atrocities occurred, is unclear. Despite the delay in repatriation, Kramer reported that I've yet to meet a German prisoner who doesn't tell me that it was the time of their lives.
Very odd.
Most Germans left the United States with positive feelings about the country where they were held. Familiarity with the English language, and often with several $100s in earnings. The funds benefited the post-war German economy on their return. They had benefited from being held by a nation that largely did not hate German soldiers. A November 1943 poll found that 74% of Americans solely blamed the German government, not Germans, for the war. After repatriation, about 5,000 Germans emigrated to the United States, and thousands of others returned to later visit, such as Rüdiger von Weckmar, who lived in New York City for 14 years as the German permanent representative of the United Nations. Funk reported that the visitors did so as convinced Democrats due to their treatment. The camps in the United States are otherwise what the Associated Press later called an all but forgotten part of history, even though some former inmates went on to become prominent in post-war Germany. About 860 German POWs remain buried in 43 sites across the United States, with their graves often tended by local German women's clubs. Even in the communities which formerly hosted POW camps for Germans, local residents often do not know the camps ever existed. Reunions of camp inmates, their captors, and local townspeople, such as those held in Maine and Georgia, have garnered press coverage and local interest for this unusual and infrequently mentioned aspect of the war. There is at least one recorded attempt by U.S. authorities to extract information from German POWs through torture. The camps for Germans were cited as precedents for various positions of failure of U.S. detainee policy during the debate over detainees at Guantanamo Bay detention camp. So I guess the thing it's an interesting sort of thing that just thinking about Germans, prisoners being shipped across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
To be in places like Maine, Georgia, New Mexico, Arizona, Alabama, just all over the country, Oklahoma. Because you could think, well, maybe I guess they could be, if anything, maybe they'd be somewhere on the East Coast. I guess Maine makes sense because it's north and it's northeastern seaboard.
I mean, it makes sense you don't want them all in one fucking place.
Yes. No, I mean, that's undoubtedly the reason why, and so they couldn't,
I'm like looking here at the internment camps, and actually it looks like the Justice Department did have some where they held German American and Italian Americans in addition to the Japanese. So it wasn't just, yeah.
Well, no, of course it wasn't, but the Japanese, it was much more Japanese.
Yeah.
Like American civilians were held in internment camps than German or Italian.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
And I think it may be because it may be more based on ideology than their ethnicity or nationality. I think the Japanese, it was pretty much a flat out internment policy.
All families, right?
Yeah. Now, I first heard about this when I was in, maybe 8th grade. And I read it was for, English class or whatever they called it, the language arts or whatever the hell they called it. And it was about a young girl in Georgia who lived next to sort of near a camp. And she met a sort of a Nazi prisoner that was sort of allowed to go around town, and she befriended him and would sometimes bring him like baked goods. And I remember there is a part in the book where he's like, and she had I forget what her name was, but he's like, I'm not surprised why you would take so kindly to me, what with your strong German name. And then she went, it's also a Jewish name. And then the book was like, had him go like, what? Like that sort of thing.
It's like cartoonish.
I don't know. Yeah, it was like, they didn't say that, but like it was like he was like aghast that like he had become to.
But I thought,
yeah, to find like sympathy from an American and a Jewish girl, But all right, so I also remember that. You remember in school when you like everyone would have to read like a couple paragraphs out loud.
Yeah,
I remember I got tripped up when I was reading a paragraph from that because it had a line where like she had to her mom wanted her to do laundry and she was hanging things out on the clothesline, and she was hanging out bras, but bras is spelled B-R-A-S, and I had never seen bras spelled as a plural, so I said brass. It was an embarrassing moment.
Everybody
not
laughed.
That bad.
No one laughed, but I was just embarrassed,
Looking back, you were embarrassed, or did the teacher correct you?
No, at the time, and I realized what happened. Like I was like bras like that, bras. Like I quickly covered it, but I remember like feeling like I rushed towards the end of the paragraph. I mean, that's my recollection. But
you want to try to do it again? You think you could do it now?
No. All right, and here's my the second part of the article. George Gartner. George Gartner was a German soldier of World War II who escaped from a prisoner of war camp in the United States, took on a new identity, and was never recaptured, though he did reveal his true identity some 40 years later. Gartner came from Schweidnitz, Lower Silesia, now Swidnica, Poland. He served with the Afrika Corps. He was captured by Allied troops in Tunis in 1943 and was brought to America as a prisoner of war. He escaped from his prison camp in Deming, New Mexico at the war's end because he was afraid of being turned over to the Soviets. He created a new identity as Dennis Wiles, marrying and leading a relatively quiet life. According to his book, an exception was taking part of the first ski rescue team to the city of San Francisco in January 1952, immediately after which Life magazine took his and the group's picture. Meanwhile, his FBI wanted posters were in most post offices. Gartner was never caught by the authorities, but came forward 40 years later in 1985, surrendering to Bryant Gumbel on The Today Show. He effectively became the last World War II German prisoner of war in America. Gartner was not an illegal immigrant, since he had been brought to the United States against his will. He had escaped from prison because he was due to be sent back to his hometown in Silesia, one of the German provinces that became part of Poland due to border changes promulgated under the terms of Potsdam Agreement. and from which nearly all Germans thereafter were expelled by the Poles, acting according to the terms of the Potsdam Agreement. Because of this, he was not charged with any offenses. But until late 2009, he was not a United States citizen. He had only a residence permit. In November 2009, he was finally naturalized as a citizen of the United States in South Denver after it had been delayed several months. The government claims that his paperwork had been lost. Gartner lived in Boulder, Colorado until his death. He published a book about his experiences called Hitler's Last Soldier in America, available in both German and English. And he was on the FBI Most Wanted. He was an FBI Most Wanted person for 40 years, I guess until his surrender in 1985. So, and it's got a little picture of him. He looks like a doofy old man with a weirdo shirt.
Hitler's
doof.
Ubermensch on the loose.
He's got like he's got like a short sleeve, sort of like floral. Actually, it looks like seashell shirt.
What's his name?
It's a George Gartner, but he went by Dennis Wiles while he was a fugitive. He's an old man with white hair and a white beard, and he's got his arm in a sling.
Okay.
Did you say something about him skiing or involved with ski rescue?
Yeah, he's on a ski rescue team.
I see.
So I guess he's a good Samaritan as well as a Nazi. No, but it seems like he was just a serviceman. It doesn't seem like he was an overt Nazi, but
his ideology wasn't. Did he pick ski rescue because he didn't think Jews skied? Like what was it? There was
this was in the 50s.
So there's no sign of him, doing anything naughty.
No, he probably skied as a young man, and he just was helping out at some sort of natural disaster.
Then why did he call his book Hitler's Last Soldier?
I guess that's just tongue in cheek.
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah. But I have another one that's. So this is my third article. I should probably City of San Francisco for ski rescue. I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry. The City of San Francisco. What looks like it was a train. You following me?
Huh?
No.
Wait, what?
The City of San Francisco is a train, apparently.
Okay.
So there was
a train called City of San Francisco?
Train called City of San Francisco. And I guess it had some sort of derailment, possibly. Or it got stuck. It looks like there was a blizzard in the Sierra Nevada that trapped the train for 6 days. It blocked the train, burying it in 12 feet of snow.
And an ex-Nazi helped rescue the people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like you're stuck on this train. It's like, Achtung, open your window.
I'm sure that's what he was saying when he ran up to.
Nazi, like he's in an SS uniform and skis. Like, I'm here to rescue you.
No, you just be like, oh, it's me, Dennis. I'm
Hitler's Last Soldier.
I'm not, I'm just a ski enthusiast.
I'm a normal American ski enthusiast here to rescue you.
Check out my crazy shirt.
Well, it looks like he may have just let himself go later in life with this shirt. Yeah, but it would be like, oh yeah, I served in the military.
Right.
Yeah, I was over there. So here's my next one: Utah prisoner of war massacre. Now this one's not lighthearted at all. The Utah prisoner of war massacre, headlined by Time as Midnight Massacre, occurred just after midnight, July 8th, 1945, when an American soldier, Private Clarence V. Bertucci, killed 9 German prisoners of war and wounded 20 others at Camp Salina, Utah. It is remembered for being the worst massacre at a POW camp in U.S. history. And the ensuing conviction of Bertucci made him one of only 3 American soldiers prosecuted during World War II for killing Axis prisoners. It was also notable for having occurred 2 months after the German surrender at the end of the war in Europe. So it seemed like Bertucci was born in New Orleans in the 20s. He dropped out of school in the 6th grade and joined the Army in 1940. He was moved around a lot and was considered a discipline problem. And he was incapable of being promoted, it said. According to later testimony, he was unsatisfied with his tour and said that he felt cheated out of his chance to kill Germans. He was also quoted as saying, "Someday I will get my Germans. I will get my turn." Now, on the night of July 7th, 1945, Bertucci was out drinking. He had coffee on Main Street and spoke with a waitress before reporting for guard duty back at the camp. After the midnight changing of the guard, Bertucci waited for the previous watch to go to bed. Then he climbed up the guard tower nearest the officers' quarters, loaded the .30 caliber M1917 Browning machine gun that was mounted at the position, and then opened fire on the tents of sleeping Germans, moving the gun from left to right and then back again. Bertucci hit 30 of the 43 tents before being removed from the tower by another soldier. Bertucci was quoted to have said, "Get more ammo, I'm not done yet." The firing lasted about 15 seconds, although that was long enough to fire 250 rounds of ammunition, and Bertucci is reported to have been taken into custody without any resistance. 6 of the Germans were killed outright, 3 later died in Salinas Hospital, and 20 others were wounded. One of the prisoners was nearly cut in half by the machine gun fire, although he managed to survive for 6 hours. It was said that blood flowed out the front door of the hospital. So it says the victims, who were between 24 and 48 years old, were buried with full military honors at Fort Douglas Cemetery. They were dressed in khaki American uniforms, but there were no flags on the caskets because the Nazi flag had been banned and there wasn't a new German flag available at the time. So I guess the U.S. government was
weird transitional period.
Yeah, the government was no longer issuing Nazi flags. So
it's like just throw them in some old khakis. It's like we'll forgo the flag. It's like generic military funeral. It's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Generic military funeral.
It's like no flag and.
All right. A statue called the German War Memorial was placed at the site. In 1988, the German Air Force funded the refurbishment of the statue. And there's a ceremony held. In Volksstratertag, which is a German national day of mourning. I guess at this when this was refurbished. Bertucci was found to be insane by the military and hospitalized, and he died in 1969. So we don't have him to worry about anymore.
Thank goodness for that.
No, he's a pretty bad guy also.
Yeah.
He had been tempted to turn the tower gun on the prisoners and was not at all sorry for what he had done.
So are they painting him like he's just a psychopath? Like they had no personal connection or revenge. He just wanted to get his Germans. Was that how they're painting it?
Essentially, yeah. Like he had discipline problems. He was a 6th grade dropout. He was ineligible to receive promotions because of his behavior. and he just wanted to kill people. But so pretty bad guy.
Yeah.
And this last one is a little bit more uplifting, although it's short. The Barbed Wire Bowl Classic was an American football game played at Stockton Ordnance Depot on January 13th, 1946, between German prisoners of war. In December of 1945, the commanding officer of Camp Stockton, Kenneth Barriger, proposed a football game between the German prisoners of the main camp in Stockdale and the smaller camp at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds as part of the re-education program for the POWs. The Germans formed two teams. The main camp in Stockton Ordnance called itself Stockade Tech. The fairground guys who worked on farms called themselves the Fairground Aggies. Quickly, however, the teams were also given nicknames that honored the respective camp commanders. Thus, the fairground team was also referred to as Barriger's Bears, while the Stockade squad went by Kernan's Crushers, and that's Crushers spelled with a K, Kernan Crushers. So they're both the nicknames are alliterative. The Aggies won 6-0 in front of a crowd of 2,000. Unsatisfied with their first outing, the Bears intensified their preparations for the rematch 4 weeks later and won 20-0. So I guess they had two games, two barbed wire bowl games, and then they called it quits.
Those are some rare sports trading cards.
Yeah. Do you have a rookie year Kenneth Barriger manager card?
And this was the Germans, right? This was like ex-Nazis on the teams.
Yeah, it was only German prisoners.
Do you have Baron Stungtung, the Auschwitz guard, who's the forward linebacker? Like, it's fucking weird.
No. But I don't know. That's a fun little thing. You get the taste of your mouth of the the other one. So that's pretty much all I have for the German prisoner of war camp in America articles.
Now I see why you needed a chunk for that. There is all this kind of like satellite stuff with that topic. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
a lot of little tidbits that are interesting.
Very interesting tidbits.
But my mouth is pretty parched right now, so I wanted to see if you guys had any games.
I did not come up with a game this week. I could not think of anything.
Dave, did you come up with a game?
I have a leftover game from the sitcom stuff I could do. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
I kind of have a game, but it's not great.
Well, you could both do it.
Let's see. Well, all right. Let me see here. All right. So the way this game works is I read you titles of shows, and you try to guess what country all these shows are in. Okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So best bits, the Bluestone Boys, Bobby Dazzler, The Joy of the Sets, Kenny's World, Laid. I can keep. There's a ton of these. Die on Your Feet, Dave and the Life, Danger 5, The D Generation, Me and My Monsters. What country put out
Australia?
It's Australia. That's correct.
Yeah, Danger 5. That's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I figured one would give it away with this.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee. All right, let me see.
Not a show.
The New Adventures. Is it animated?
All right, Fur TV, Joe's Pop Shop, Norbert Smith of Life, Don't Blow the Inheritance, Psycho Bitches. What country is this? Funny Cuts, All About George.
It sounds like is it like Ireland or something?
You say Ireland. What do you say, Alec?
England.
It's England. It's Britain.
Oh, sweet.
Clear. Yeah. Ireland, England.
I thought you were trying to throw a curveball, so it wasn't going to be actual.
What do you mean?
Like, I thought England would be too on the nose.
No, some of these might be quite on the nose. Well, I didn't prepare too good. Let me see if I can find some more good ones. Axel, Bully Parade, cartoon, the series, The Oliver Poocher Show, Total Normal, Ladyland. What channel or what country is this? Elton TV.
India.
No.
Is it New Zealand?
No, it's German.
All right. So that's the English title for these.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of them, they don't have the translation, so I it's best to get ones that do. But some of them are like Parole Chicago.
That's not the U.S.?
No, it's German. All right. Comedy Street. Let me find another good one. Ooh. The East, Extravaganza, Rain. No, those are the only ones I can give. The East, Extravaganza, and Rain.
France.
Bulgaria.
Indonesia. So I know it's kind of nothing to indicate anything in that. This is the only one I can give that won't give it away. Comedy Club.
Why? How are the other ones going to give it away?
They all have like the country's name in it or something.
All right, Eurolash. They're just like they're just words. The language, I assume. All right, Comedy Club and Eurolash. KVN, it's another one. I'll try to find some better ones. It's Russian.
Okay.
All right, Mackin, Full Fries, Lori, Smash the miniseries, Swedish Dicks, 1628, Boy Machine, Cleo.
Sweden.
It's Sweden. I gave it away. The Blizzard of Odd, Dan and Beck's, Dustin's Daily News, Hardy Bucks.
Is it Canada?
No. A Scare at Bedtime, Soupy Norman, Republic of Telly. The folks.
Is this one Ireland?
This one is Ireland. It's Irish, yeah. Okay. The Almighty Johnsons, Back of the Y Masterpiece.
New Zealand.
This is New Zealand, yes. That second one you knew?
I knew the Almighty Johnson one.
Oh, you knew that? Okay.
Was Being Eve on the list?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
Burying Brian, Rude Awakenings, some funny ones. Okay. Carl and Co., Haas Martin, Golden Goal, Valen TV, Carl 3, Lilyhammer, Team Antonsen.
Oh, is that his Netherlands?
Oh, Lilyhammer? Oh, wait.
Isn't that Netherlands?
your guess is Netherlands? What's your guess, Alec?
I don't know. I just know that's the one with the guy from Sopranos on it. Switzerland?
It's Norwegian.
No, I knew it was one of those weirdo countries.
All right, hold on. Let me see. One sec. I'm just going to open up a bunch of them. Let's see. Damn, like these are translated. Atta Girl, BitToys Funniest Videos, Bubble Gang, Chicka Chicka Chicks, Dear Ugg, Dream Dad, That's My Doc, Tweets for My Sweet, 2.5 Daddies, What a Men We Will Survive, Mommy Elvie's Problematic Show, Mickey Forever, Mac and Chiz. What country is this? Mac and Chiz.
Man, I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
It's an interesting one. It's the Philippines.
All right, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Let's see. Lap Pitch, The Little Shoemaker. It's the only one. Zach Cohn with an exclamation point. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Me neither.
Hold on, let me see. Bilba's World. Oh, if I click into some, it'll give me a translation. Let me see. Married with Children, but in another language.
Russia?
It's Croatia.
All right.
Let's see.
I don't think there's any way either of us would guess Croatia.
It's impossible.
All right. Celebrity Crooks, Comic Genius, Kung Fu Dino Posse, Once a Thief, Pop Cultured, Good Morning World, Girls Will Be Girls.
Spain?
Canada.
It is Canada.
It is
God
Canada?
damn it.
Oh, nice.
Frost and Shaft, Indie Gloria, Beard Dorm Bastards, these ones are pretty shitty. Skipper Next to Mathilda, Vernshin and Zoot, Never Effectin'.
Never affecting what?
It's Belgian. Dr. Martin, Comeback. Yeah, these ones are shitty.
What is it?
Czech.
Okay. The CR?
Yeah. There's one show called Czech Soda.
Sounds good.
Oh my god. All right, I'll open up one more batch of them and then I give up. I don't think that there's going to be any other really good ones. Okay. The Autocrats, Pajama Party, Taboo, Romano TV, The Joppet Show, The Dude Sons, Jefferson Anderson.
Greenland.
What's your guess, Joe?
Italy?
Yeah, it's Finland.
Okay.
Finnish.
Yeah, I guess Jefferson Anderson is not. sounds all right.
Yeah. So you get it. It's kind of interesting. Ex-Girlfriends Club, My Little Baby, My Two Perfect Sons, Rooftop Room Cat.
India.
France.
South Korea.
Yeah.
Gross.
Rats. Too bad they don't have North Korean comedy shows on here. That would have been a good one.
So, Alec, you do not have one?
Well, I do have one. It was going to be a tie-in to another article I had, but the game's kind of impossible. But we can give it a shot.
Well, do you want to do the article first? Do you want to wait till next week and do it?
I could do that. Maybe I could refine it a bit so the game's a little bit more polished.
All right.
Wait, hold on. I have a little article. I have a bunch of little ones. Can I do this little one?
Yeah, read a little article, I guess.
Yeah, or yeah. The Negobot.
I have a little one, too.
Yeah, you should do a little one. We're only like in... I think we have like less than an hour of stuff anyway, so...
All right.
Negobot, also referred to... Have you guys heard of this, by the way, before I get into this?
No.
Okay. Also referred to as Lolita or the Lolita chatbot is a chatterbot that was introduced to the public in 2013, designed by researchers from the University of Datusto and OpNet to catch online pedophiles. It is a controversial agent that utilizes natural language processing, information retrieval, and automatic learning. Those are like 3 techniques. Because the bot poses as a young female in order to entice and track potential predators, it became known in the media as the virtual Lolita in reference to Vladimir Nabokov's novel. So it's kind of interesting. Have you guys? I feel like I've heard of shit like this.
Well, we've had articles about like predictive text things before.
Yeah. This is like an applied usage or something like that. So, in 2013, the university researchers published a paper on their work with the Negobot and disclosed the text online. In their abstract, the researchers addressed the issue that an increasing number of children use the internet, blah, 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 and young users are more susceptible. The university researchers used information provided by anti-pedophilia activist organization Perverted Justice, including examples of online encounters and conversations with sexual predators, to supplement the program's artificial intelligence system. So that's interesting. They took a bunch of actual, like, chats from pedophiles to kind of inform it. Like, they have, like, there's only, pedophiles are always going to just ask questions or do this, and so it knows to intend that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't you think Perverted Justice is a really horrible name for
No, yeah, it sounds like a Brazzers sub channel or something. Sub brand, you know?
It's like they wanted to include something that acknowledged the fact that they were trying to catch perverts.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work, though.
It sounds like, it's like...
It's like a perversion of justice.
Yeah, Perverted Justice, yeah.
It's like if the
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like if you go before a judge and the judge like makes you jerk him off or something.
That's Perverted Justice.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's funny because it's like, what's a better title? Like Justice for Perverts? It sounds like it's like lawyers for like pedophiles or something.
Yeah.
Like,
a pro bono.
Right. Yeah, they should work on the name. I agree.
It should be like safeguarders or something.
Yeah. Protect the kids or some shit. Yeah. Perverted Justice. Anyway, so I thought some of this shit was kind of interesting. They, these all this game theory shit with it. What makes Negobot different is its game theory feature, which makes it able to maintain a much more realistic conversation. Apart from being able to imitate a stereotypical teenager, the program is also able to translate messages into different language. So that's kind of it's like it feels like you're talking to a kid. It's like, I don't know, it uses slang and this is it's like the bot's programmers use methods of artificial language and natural language processing to create a conversational agent fluent in typical teenage slang, misspellings, and knowledge of pop culture. So it's like they program it with all of this like character.
Lol.
Negobot's designers programmed it with the ability to treat conversations with potential predators as if it were a game, the objective being to collect as much information as possible on the suspect that could provide evidence of pedophilic characteristics and motives. The use of game theory shapes the decision the bot makes and the overall direction of the conversation. The bot initiates its operations by entering a chat with a passive participant waiting to be chatted up by the user. Once the user elicits conversation, the bot will frame the conversation in such a way that the user target is engaged and it extracts personal information and discourages it from leaving the chat. The information is then recorded to be sent to the police. If the target seems to lose interest, the bot attempts to make it feel guilty by expressing sentiments of loneliness and emotional need through strategic formulated responses, ultimately prolonging interaction. In addition, the bot may provide fake information about itself in an attempt to lure the target into physical meetings. It can't detect sarcasm. It's weird.
It's funny.
So it's like, I don't know, where are you at? Are you a pedophile? It just it keeps driving you towards that.
I do like the loneliness thing. That's a good.
Oh, but I'm lonely. Where are you going?
Now I have a controversial opinion.
Uh-oh. Shall I cut here?
No, you can include it because it's not anything that I haven't publicly stated beforehand. But I do not approve of the with this and with the catch a predator stuff where they get them to get arrested. I don't feel like a crime is actually committed because they're not talking to a real child. They're either talking to a decoy or a computer. So it's not like any child was harmed. At the most, they should just be publicly shamed.
Yo, but in the show, the kid is there. Like, a kid is in danger,
In the show, there's not a kid in danger. It's always a decoy.
No,
there's
but
a kid there for a second, but then
there's never a real kid there. It's always an adult.
But I thought that there is a kid there.
There's on the show they'll walk into the
on the show. There's never a child though. It's always an adult person
playing a decoy.
Yeah, that's like a small adult that's
really?
wearing. It's never an actual kid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't have to check on that. I swear to God, though they really pick him well.
They talk about it. They'll say our decoy is pretending to be 13, but she's actually 19. Like Chris Hansen will say that on every episode.
They've expressed interest though in committing a criminal act. It's you know what? If that's true, if they shouldn't be arrested, then how can they arrest guys that hire undercover cops to do a hit? You don't think that's against?
I think it's a different thing if they're hiring and they're changing money's changing hands. But I think in this instance, it should just be a public shaming thing.
You don't think there's legal grounds to convict them?
I don't see that there. I don't see that there should be. I think
how it usually turns out on To Catch a Predator too. It is just like a shaming thing.
No, they usually get arrested, but
do they?
The first couple, they didn't get arrested; they were just shamed. But then the cops started joining in on it.
Well, okay. Is it different county to county, or is this a federal thing? It seems.
I think it might be a federal thing.
I mean, I don't know. I have no interest in going against it because what's the issue with it? You think innocent people are being?
Well, I'm not gonna devote any time to it. I just to me, it just seems like they didn't actually do a crime, so they should.
They were trapped.
They should just be shamed. It should just be made public that they were trying to sexually assault a child, but they didn't actually do it.
What is the crime that what is the crime that technically they're being arrested for?
It's that they believed that they were committing a crime. Yeah, which shouldn't really count.
Well, that's the thing. I want to know what are they charged with when the dude shows up and it's like, yo, like, we gonna fuck, like, and then they arrest him.
It's always like
intent or criminal intent.
It's always a lot of times it's like disseminating harmful material to a minor, and then they'll phrase like, but they believed it to be a minor, but it's sort of like, well, that shouldn't really count.
I don't know. I mean, I'll disagree with you on that.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like an actual crime was committed.
But like, but by that token, like, if you knowingly send like you see a Facebook account and it says the person's 12 and you send them pornography, that's a crime. Like,
yeah, if they really are a child, it's a crime.
But if it's not, like, you think that like
it's just tacky, I guess.
I don't know about that. I mean, you did preface it saying it's a controversial opinion.
Yeah, like if you believe you're snorting cocaine, but you're actually snorting baking soda, that's not a crime.
It's a little different though, because that's like,
yeah, it's not the same thing, but
yeah.
You believe you did something wrong, but you believe you did something illegal.
I think that it's like such a different thing, though. It doesn't really work.
The only difference is that with the cocaine thing, it's not morally wrong to take cocaine, where it is morally wrong to abuse a child.
Yep.
I mean, like, my only issue with it is it feels like it's one of those things like you could easily get someone else in big trouble with like that kind of shit. So I would hope they would vet it. But I think it's okay to grab those guys.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm not in the majority, and I know a lot of people will think I'm the monster now, but what can I tell you?
Is there a difference in like sentencing for someone if they're caught doing that as opposed to like caught in the act of?
I don't think there's a difference between the two things, but I don't know. I don't think it's a thing where it's like, well, he thought he was
like he showed intention to.
What about one of those?
He didn't actually do anything.
What about like one of those guys that'll catch like 3 times in the same day, though?
Yeah, I remember that. Those episodes.
Come on, like,
Henry, why are you here again?
Well, they don't catch him 3 times in the same day. They catch him on 2 different occasions or something.
No, but it'll be like, yeah, like really quick. Like as soon as they get out of it, they just jump back on their computer and do it again. Like you have to admit, there's a little bit of unpragmatism to the shaming aspect. Like shaming's not that effective. You know, if a guy is a crazy rapist, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems like, and it's a thing where it would be more effective if people were not like, oh, they just go to prison, you know? Like people take more, you know, like have more like accountability of who they're letting into their lives. If it wasn't just a thing like, well, he would go to prison if he was really a creep.
Like if he was, but maybe he hasn't raped anyone yet.
Well, if he hasn't raped anyone yet, he hasn't done anything. Then he's just a guy who has gross fantasies,
and that's constantly trying to carry them out.
He wants to act them out. Yeah.
Yes. Come on, dude. Like,
he's totally willing to, given the opportunity.
If someone like sends an email like, "I'm going, you know, with this bomb to blow you up," and you catch the dude and he's got the bomb in his car, like,
yeah, well, that's different.
But he said
that's a guy who's demonstrating like a clear and immediate intent to do harm. There's no ability to do harm if there's no actual victim there.
What about like if a guy shows up like with drugs and stuff? Like he's like, I want to come over and fuck you, and I've got some.
Well, then you arrest him. Then you would arrest him for the drugs.
You think that's valid?
Well, I don't think that's valid because I don't think you should be able to arrest someone for drugs. But
if they show up, you say
I'm sure. Oh, yeah. They definitely.
Well, it's yeah.
Yeah, they definitely would.
Well,
I think the difference is with like threatening someone's life with a weapon or attempting to murder someone. There's a concrete victim there. There's a concrete person. But if it's a computer bot, there's no actual victim. So no person is in the line of being harmed immediately. I think that's the difference.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this: like sometimes people will sell drugs on Craigslist. And do you think it's the same rule? Like, I mean, but it's like the gun thing that it's just they did show up with the guns or the drugs. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
I don't think they should be arrested because I don't think it should be a crime to do that. But
as it is, though, like it's like someone posts up, "Hey, I got."
Are you asking like if it's merely intent? If they can say, well, he had a X amount of drugs, so that is clearly intent to sell.
No, I'm kind of trying to get you to clarify your logic standing on saying why it's not entirely above board to do what they do to arrest guys with that kind of entrapment. And I'm saying, are you consistent with that belief when it comes to drugs and other things? Like, because it's similar, because it's like with the Craigslist thing, people post, hey, I got some great green, call this number. And then why can't a cop call it? And then just, it's just an immediate quota filler. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure they do. Because sometimes cops do that. They'll show up and they'll just buy drugs from a drugs dealer.
But if you catch someone in a similar way.
Well, it's harder to say because I don't believe you should be able to do that at all. In any circumstance, a police officer should be able to do that at all. So I can't say, well, but so I don't know what you're asking me.
It's just kind of weird. Like if someone puts out there, "Hey, I want to commit a crime, and I'm ready to do it." And
the difference to me is a matter of I mean, I don't know if you're trying to look at it as from what is legal and what is like morally right. I mean, I don't believe.
I mean, you think it's not morally right to entrap?
I think it's morally wrong to arrest someone for selling or using drugs.
Well, like that aside, like, is it wrong to arrest someone for showing an intent and committing a crime? That whether or not you might not agree with the crime, that's the laws of the land. Like that's just how we follow the law.
Well, it's hard. It's also harder to say because I don't view there being an actual victim there, as with a sexual assault or a
hit.
Yeah, a threat of bodily harm. There's an actual victim there. So I can't say that yes, they can, you demonstrate intent. Yeah, because I mean, you can demonstrate intent with a weapon, like a deadly weapon, by threatening someone, and that's a moral wrong. But there first has to be, a victim.
Well, this is my thing about it. I don't entirely disagree with you to a certain degree, but the problems come down to pragmatics. It's like
you just don't think it would be effective enough to shame someone.
Yeah, it's just it comes down to pragmatism. Well, okay, if we're going to follow the spirit of the law, and we're not going to entrap people because entrapment is wrong, then how are we going to get pedophiles? How are we going to get?
I don't think that's in any person's idea of the or any law person's idea of the spirit of the law. I don't think law enforcement officers are saying, well, it's not in the spirit of the law to entrap somebody. I think they think it is.
But I mean, if you take away a tool to catch the bad guys, then what you got to replace it. Otherwise,
so now but the argument you're making is that cops should have it as easy as possible to do their job, which is not something I believe in.
Well, if there's no this is the question: are innocent people being victimized by a Negobot or by pedophilic entrapment techniques? Are innocent people going down through that?
Now you're phrasing it like innocent. Yeah, I guess creeps are being are the victim of it. So it's not like something that you would really care to fight for justice. But I still don't. It still doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem like a thing where they committed an actual crime.
Right. It's just one of these things where it's like I'm for criticism, but criticism without like solutions, I feel like it's destructive. It's you know what I mean? Like I'm up for better alternatives.
I mean, it's not a solution. It's not a thing that needs a solution because it was a thing that it's not like it wasn't in existence before it was made. It's not like this is the thing how it always has been, and to take it away is to do something wrong. This is a thing in my mind that is wrong.
Got it.
So don't have it. But again, I see it very easily that people would think I'm the monster, but I don't think I'm the monster.
No, I don't think you're a monster for that. I just think it's like it's naive. It's kind of like, you know,
I don't think it is naive.
It's idealistic.
Well, maybe
rose-colored, little rose-colored.
I don't think it is. I don't know if I think anything that puts someone in prison that didn't actually do a wrong to someone, I think that's a greater wrong.
Well, it's two big things, right? It's a kid in danger and someone going to jail.
Yeah, but there's no actual child in danger. It's the idea of it.
Well, an adult individual has expressed an intent.
Yeah, but I don't think there's an actual victim. I think first there needs to be an actual victim, and not just the idea that there could be a victim. That's what I object to.
Like, do you object to preventative police? We're getting way far down the rabbit hole on this, but like,
you guys just all claim they were being sarcastic because the thing can't be
well, that's what they do on To Catch a Predator. They'll go like, "Oh no, it was
sarcastic.
It was role play. We were role playing." Like they'll do shit like that.
I really want to choke you.
Yeah. Oh. So
no, I'm sorry to keep going back and forth about this. I am interested in stuff.
Well, I did bring it up, and I did.
No, I think a lot about like stuff like preventative policing, or what's the wrong way, what's the right way.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by preventative policing?
It's like it's not like there's kind of like the theory of law enforcement is you help victims and stop perpetrators of victims, and then preventative policing, I guess, would be like trying to do things to prevent crimes from happening to begin with. Like what is it? It's like the difference between fire prevention and fire extinguishing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think fire prevention and fire extinguishing are both good. Are both things that people want.
One's going to be pro-fire usually.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's like, but some people, it's like, well, it's about immediate response time. That's what's important with putting out fires. Is we just got to put them out good. It's like, who cares if we make everything out of wood? It's like both are equally important, right? And when that can be true in crime, in pedophilic rape and stuff as well, like prevention is just as important as catching. You know what I'm saying?
No, I would say it's always important that justice is served, and if there's no victim, there's no actual crime.
So what? All right.
I would say it's always wrong to jail someone who has not wronged another person.
you feel the same way about like a prostitution sting or something like that?
Oh, definitely. That's way more cut and dry because there's provided it's not like a sex slave situation.
No, but like if there's a woman on the street and it turns out to be a cop, like that kind of thing.
Oh, the cop is totally wrong. In any scenario, it should be the cop that goes to jail. That's a little joke. Everyone's gonna hate me though.
I think it's good to clarify the reasoning that comes from it because I feel like I do understand your reasoning and I just don't agree.
Yeah, I get it.
With the with the practical application.
Yeah, well, that disgusts me.
Well, I've got yeah. I've got a camp where you and all your friends can go and make crafts.
Well,
did you have a shorty, Alec?
I do. Do you know what disgusts me?
What's that?
Cockroaches?
Game.
What?
No, not cockroaches. Cock throwing.
Oh my God!
You guys know cock throwing?
It's about birds, right?
It is about roosters. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right.
Cock throwing, also known as cock shying or throwing at cocks, was a blood sport widely practiced in England in the late 18th century. A rooster was tied to a post, and people took turns throwing cocksteels, special weighted sticks, at the bird until it died. Cock throwing was traditionally associated with Shrove Tuesday, a contributor to the Gentleman's Magazine in 1737 during an Gallican phase of British culture, was of the opinion that cock throwing arose from traditional enmity towards the French, for which the cock played an emblematic role. But after that, it's just like it was a really popular pastime for a while, and then people just kind of realized it was pretty fucked up, and they just stopped doing it.
Wait, so they just would tie a fucking rooster to a pole and throw shit at it until it's dead?
Yeah, until they hit it, and whoever hit it, killing it, was the winner.
That sounds like someone thinks it's a good idea over there.
Oh, that's cute.
Where do I sign up? Meow?
Oh, yeah, the cat. Yes, cats, I didn't know
also, all the... go on. I've got a thing that
there are other versions of it, too. Also, there's goose pulling, fox tossing. It's all the same thing. You just chain up an animal, and you throw shit at it.
You torture it.
You torture it, that pretty much, and then you win.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
That's petty.
What we got? It slowly waned in England. William Hogarth depicted it as barbarous activity for the first stage in a slippery slope in the 4 stages of cruelty in 1971. And Nathan Drake credited this in part of changes in public attitudes towards the sport.
Yeah, it's like murderous triad shit, like torturing animals.
Yeah, it's like serial killer shit.
Right.
Not a fun game for kids. But I guess back in 1737, people felt a little different.
Wait, so it's considered a game? It's not distinguished from a game. It's considered like a game.
A popular pastime, it was playing marbles or something like that.
Okay. There's not points. It's just you win if you win.
you just take turns trying to beam this animal with these weighted sticks, and I imagine you'd hit it and then
you throw the sticks at it.
Yeah, it's chained up a little ways away from you.
So it's not it's not like a piñata scenario.
No, it's on a stand, and it's affixed to that stand in some way. Sometimes they're on a pole, with a leash around their neck. It's 4 or 5 feet long. It's just an animal that can't get away.
No, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, I kind of resent that being considered a game. It's just like ritual. Games are much more pure than that.
Yeah, it's gross, and there's so many versions of it too. It's just it's pretty terrible.
You know what it reminds me of? Did you ever play God, what was it? Heretic 2? Or I guess maybe even Heretic 1. The training sequence where you have to beat the bird with a stick. Like a bird's tied to a string and you have to beat it with a stick.
I kind of remember shit like that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess Alec wasn't a big Heretic 2 player.
Heretic 2.
Yeah.
That was much better than Heretic 1.
What do you prefer?
First-person shooter game?
Is a third-person beating with stick game.
No, like Heretic 1 was like a medieval Doom, but Heretic 2 was this kind of like Tomb Raider thing.
What was Heretic 1? Are you sure you're not thinking of Hexen?
No, Hexen came from Heretic.
But Heretic
1, it looked like a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
It's like Heretic is like the spiritual predecessor to Hexen. They use a lot of the same stuff. Trust me, Joe.
All right. I did like Hexen a lot.
I always get motion sickness from those kind of games.
Hexen fucked me up. I like Doom, I like Wolfenstein, but something about Hexen always grossed me out.
How about Blood, though? You like Blood?
Yeah, of course. No, you know what? Like, Hexen was like way too overly stylized.
I don't know.
Wait, so let me ask you about this thing. Do they kind of get into analyzing it at all? It's kind of just like scapegoat shit. It seems like it's just kind of cultural baggage stuff. Like everybody used to do shit like this, or, you know.
Yeah, it's just, there's not really too much analyzing in the article. It's just, in 1660, an official pronouncement by Puritan officials in Bristol to forbid cock throwing on Shrove Tuesday. Oh, actually, this is not. This is actually, it resulted in a riot when it was first banned.
Oh, how dare you?
What? But yeah, people just get over it, and a lot of people just step up and say, "Yeah, that's really fucked up to animals," and just like people's treatment of animals, people's opinions on that just change as time goes forward, I guess.
Right.
Move on to other stuff.
It seems like it'd be better to just eat the chicken.
Yeah, really. Just have a chicken dinner instead.
Just cut its head off and then eat it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like before there was other stuff to do, it's like, well, I want to see a bird be squirming. Like it's just, what else? I guess they had better. It's easy to not do that if you have better things to do. Can you imagine being like a French peasant and like, well, shit. I mean, you could abuse an animal for an hour. Like, what else are we gonna do?
Well, it's English, right? It was against the French. It was to taunt the French.
Hold on, let me find it again. Anti-Gallican phase. Yeah.
So that's like Gaul, right? That's the...
Yeah, it arose from traditional enmity towards the French.
Oh, it's like effigy shit. It is like scapegoat. It's like literally like, oh, it's like, this chicken's a Frenchman.
I guess. I don't know. That's like the only mention in the article of like, I guess that's what it's originally for, but I guess people just adopted it as a... Here we see cock throwing was a popular pastime with people of all classes, especially with children, and although widespread was less common than cockfighting, Sir Thomas More referred to his skill in casting a cocksteel as a boy. If the bird had its leg broken or was lame during the event, it was sometimes supported with sticks in order to prolong the game. Ugh. The cock was also sometimes placed inside an earthenware jar to prevent it from moving. Variations on the theme included goose quilling or squalling, when a goose was substituted or cock thrashing or cock whipping, which involved the cock being placed in a pit where the blindfolded participants would attempt to hit it. Oh, so this is more like a piñata.
It's literally
attempt
piñata,
to hit it with their sticks. A Sussex variation, similar to bull baiting, when the rooster was tied to a 4 or 5 foot long cord, and the same thing happened pretty much.
Wait, what did you say? Like, people of all classes enjoyed it, so it's like doctors and priests.
Popular pastime with people of all classes, especially children.
And what was that line too? What was that line too, where the guy claimed of his skill at throwing the cockstone or whatever?
Sir Thomas More referred to his skill in casting a cocksteel as a boy, but it doesn't say anything about that.
Well, when I was a boy, I had quite a bit of skill at casting the cocksteel.
So this one disgusts you, Alec.
Yes, I think it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really mean.
Yeah, like there's the other article I had has a big list of a bunch of forgotten games of the past.
Forgotten games.
There's a lot of them that are really, really weird. This is, easily the most fucked up of all of them, though.
Well, I
would say the only fucked up one, actually. Most of the other ones are like throwing sticks at a target and stuff like that.
I'm going to take the controversial viewpoint on this, and I think it's pretty cool.
Fuck you. Set up a chat bot to try to get a throwing attorney together, try to attract people.
A chat bot for finding out someone's into blood sport.
Ugh. You guys suck.
You got another short one?
Hey, come on, it's my turn.
Yeah, you got. No, I'm saying you got another short one.
Yo, I got my segment, Aladdin time.
Oh yeah.
Follow me to a place where incredible feats are routine every hour or so. Where enchantment runs rampant, just wild in the streets. Open sesame. Here we go! Arabian Nights!
Forgot about this.
Alec. Oh, it sounds like Alec hasn't been listening to the episodes.
I haven't caught up on the whole back library of shows yet.
Aladdin Time is a segment where I read synopses of episodes from the Aladdin TV series.
The Disney animated one?
That's correct.
All right.
Which was a show I liked very much as a child. Episode 7, The Vapor Chase. Abysmal comes across some magic powder that, when burnt, creates a smoke creature willing to steal for him.
He's got a vape. He found e-liquid.
He then tricks Jasmine into buying all of the powder to give to the people of Agrabah to use as fuel.
So they can quit smoking.
Only after stealing from the people of Agrabah, the smoke creatures combine to form the smoke monster Sutanai, who then turns against Abysmal and starts destroying Agrabah. So one of the good parts about this Aladdin thing is that there's a lot of pun names that are sort of like Middle Eastern sounding. Abysmal. Mm-hmm. Here's one I didn't notice until later. We talked about, Dave, the thief Amin Damula, which I believe is yeah, like I'm in the money.
Yeah. I want Damula, yeah. Or something. Wait, so let me ask you about this one. So they all got into this smoke because it did what?
You weren't listening at all. You were just making vape jokes.
Yeah, but wait, what was it? Like it caused like better health or something?
No, Abysmal has a creature that steals for him. It's a smoke creature that's from a powder, and when you light it, it steals stuff for Abysmal. He buys a bunch, donates it to Jasmine, or gives it to Jasmine, and she gives it to all the people of Agrabah to use as fuel. Okay. And when they light it, it starts stealing stuff for him.
So he gives it under the auspices that it's free fuel.
Well, he tricks Jasmine into giving it to everybody. It doesn't say how, but
okay, I'm with you.
And then it turns on Abismal and destroys Agrabah, and it doesn't say how Aladdin or Genie or whoever else saves the day.
They didn't.
No, they do. They'll save the day.
Was Iago like one of their friends in that?
That's correct.
Like Iago was a good guy for a minute? All right.
Garden of Evil, Episode 8. 20 years ago, a much younger sultan stumbled upon a magnificent garden and plucked a flower to take home to his bride. This aroused the anger of the garden's master, an enchanter named Arbutus, who sees himself as an artist and creates beautiful things, but despises man for seemingly carelessly destroying his work. The only way he allows the Sultan to leave alive is the promise of the Sultan's most valuable treasure 20 years later, which turns out to be Jasmine.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a common motif in like folklore, I think.
No, I did. There's like a whole thing about like the sculptor in love with his sculpture and all this kind of shit. Like,
well, that's Pygmalion, but that's not at all what this is like.
But I mean, it's this kind of mad artist kind of shtick.
Narratively, it's much different than a Pygmalion. It's more of just like a Rumpelstiltskin type scenario.
So they say the young sultan. They're talking about that little fat guy, right?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what that character, how he's portrayed as younger.
I bet he just had darker hair.
He's just still that little fat guy, but it's just...
Yeah, probably. Episode 9, Much Ado About Something. A lost civilization that is being menaced by a surviving Tyrannosaurus worships Abu as their great protector. But Aladdin pushes Abu out of the spotlight by continuously talking for Abu.
So it's some like Cyrano de Bergerac.
I don't think so. I think it's just
Bergerac.
A Bergerac. Much ado about something. Was it? That's what it was called.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem at all like Cyrano de Bergerac, because Cyrano de Bergerac was like hiding the fact that he was talking for the guy. In this one, Aladdin's just like saying what Abu,
He's not letting Abu talk.
Yeah, he's putting words in Abu's mouth, essentially.
He's not like writing love letters for Abu because he's a better writer.
No.
So, wait, is you think that the title, like, isn't that from Much to Do About Nothing? That's
Much Ado About Nothing.
Do you think that the plot somehow involves the Shakespearean tropes?
I very much doubt it, but I mean tropes. But it probably doesn't have anything to do with Much Ado About Nothing. But,
it's not an adaptation.
No, it's probably just a pun name.
It's bullshit.
Episode 10, My Fair Aladdin.
Again,
Aladdin becomes more sociable when he feels left out of the royal meetings, though Jasmine disagrees with this change that Aladdin should be himself. However, when Genie is captured while investigating Mechanically's latest scheme, it is up to Aladdin to rescue him.
So we got like plot A and plot B going on in this one.
Well, it seems like it doesn't seem like an A story, B story. It seems like Aladdin. What I imagine what would happen is that like Aladdin tries to act more like high society, but he ends up saving Genie, and thus shows that even though he can be more refined, he's still like a brave man of action.
That almost is a little bit of My Dear Lady in that, like this anxiety about stateliness.
Episode 11, Some Enchanted Genie. Genie falls in love with a female genie named Eden, but she is not a free genie, having a young, homeless orphan girl named Dondi as her master. Trouble ensues when Abismal sets his sights on obtaining Eden, making him her new master. After Dondi wishes Abismal to leave them alone, she wishes by accident that Eden would stay with her until life ends. When Genie gets shocked, Eden says that she is all Dondi has and cannot just leave her. When Genie understands, they promise they'd wait to be together until the time of Dondi's life ends. God, that one's morbid.
So why can't Dondi, wish for a better life or something?
I think she used all of her wishes.
Is she still like a homeless?
Oh, and her last one was that Genie couldn't have any freedom.
No, it's that Eden had to stay with Dondi.
It didn't have to grant any more wishes. Just hang out.
Yeah. To be her friend.
There's too much meta Jin shit in this one.
I don't think there's too much at all. It seems like it's probably for children.
It's too much about the inner workings of how this whole genie creature works for me.
No, I have a pretty good feeling that they spell it out pretty plainly.
It's real esoteric.
No. All right, I'll do one more. Episode 12, Web of Fear. A large section of Agrabah collapses into the underground caverns below, and the residents believe the legendary Unkbot, a giant spider-like creature, to be responsible. That's it.
That's an easy one. Big monster one.
Spiders.
It's probably not the giant spider creature, though. It's probably something else. It's a twist.
Yeah, I'm going to take a wild guess, and I'm going to say that the genie fixes this issue with magic.
I think
Google imaged it. There definitely are giant spiders in it.
I think what I would imagine is that the genie ultimately fixes it, but it takes someone else, possibly Aladdin, to understand what's really going on.
Right. Or Abu.
No, Abu doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's a pretty disposable character.
He doesn't talk.
He's just a cute animal.
Hardly.
I guess.
No, he's not cute.
Supposed to be. He's supposed to be like a little cute sidekick, right?
You know who's cuter than that? Carpet.
True.
Is Carpet cute?
Yes, Carpet's cute.
Carpet's just a carpet that, kind of stands up and moves like a person sometimes.
He's cute.
Doesn't even make any noise.
Well, that's better than Abu, who just makes monkey sounds.
That's Abu. He's like a Pokemon.
Yeah, Abu's design I find to be kind of gross in a way.
Yeah, he looks like a gross old man.
He's supposed to be cute, though.
Well, they failed.
A stuffed animal that little kids would buy.
No, they should be selling carpets.
Well, they probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why you would need Aladdin to need another character like that, but I think they could have done. I think he could have been fatter or something, or he's just just too many limbs. I find that to be upsetting. They're too long and yeah.
I guess a fat little monkey would be better. They should have it look more like the Sultan.
The Sultan should just be his sidekick.
That's a much better take on Aladdin. Yeah.
And now you've been listening to Deconstructing Aladdin.
We should just do an Aladdin.
Do a spinoff.
Sultan's pretty cute. He's got a doofy nose, but...
He's like Santa Claus. He's like...
Yeah. It's like Santa Claus on safari type thing.
Or he's like Saudi Arabian Santa Claus.
I'm looking at a pic of Jafar, holding up his hypnosis serpent stick to Sultan's eyes.
Is Jafar ever in the show?
No, I don't think so.
He never cameos?
No. I don't think so. Maybe. It might be a two-parter.
Yeah.
Where...
But that was Gilbert Gottfried doing Iago the whole way through, I believe.
Yeah.
Isn't it Dan Castellaneta who's Genie in this one too?
Yes.
You should get quotes from some of these, like Gilbert Gottfried, like, I can't believe Agrabah's collapsed and there's spiders everywhere.
I think you can get a quote from the actual Gilbert Gottfried for the show.
Oh, yeah, just for, his stand-up.
What a terrible show.
No, just call him up and ask him.
One of the most miserable periods of my life.
Yeah, he seems like he's in a bad mood a lot.
I think it's all an act.
Have you heard the clips where he uses his real voice?
Yeah, they're so good. The Howard Stern clips.
Yeah.
Have you heard that shit, Alec?
No, I haven't.
Maybe I'll insert that here. That is so funny.
We're just like, yes, it's Gilbert. I'm calling just to see
yeah.
what time it is.
Yeah, it's like real like morose and like calm. Like it's really funny. Like
yeah. Yeah.
Well, good show, guys.
Yeah.
I had fun. I don't know if hopefully no one thinks I'm a monster.
Whatever.
Oh, I just think you're a monster enabler.
Shut up. I think you guys are the real monster enablers.
Yeah, but I don't deny it.
Huh?
Yeah.
I believe in monster rights.
Fuck you. All right, well. Check out Omegaland, post-apocalyptic tarot deck, available on Amazon.com.
Check out alec-llewellyn.tumblr.com.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
This has been the Wikifiends coming at ya.
Word.
Yeah. We'll see you again next time.
See you later.
Bye.